Against the Ropes podcast.
Contra las cuerdas.
Against the Ropes podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. AtR podcast. Gio Garcia here. I'm alongside Christian Mosqueda. Back for more. Is Chris frozen already? Oh, man.
Am I frozen?
I think he's frozen, but it's all good. We'll get him back on here. Welcome back to the show. We had some good action last Saturday. Actually, was it Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday. Our boy Raymond Morataya won a title, and controversy also in that main event on Top Rank. And we got some numbers, Chris. We got some numbers from that Cinco de Mayo weekend. Man, I was impressed by a lot of the purses. Man, those guys got paid a lot of money. But we'll get into it. We'll get Chris back unfrozen. But what should we start with?
Oh yeah, again, Gio, this is like you said, this is I want to say the week after the big buffet, man, little hangover. Obviously a little poster there. Our boy Morataya fighting, some good fights there, some good scraps, some controversy. But yeah, man, dude, I'm excited, Joe. Actually, I don't know the numbers, Gio, so whatever numbers you say, I'm gonna be hearing them and learning about them in real time. So I'm excited to see how much these boys got made. And we talked about big losers last week. I want to see how much Turkey, how much he shelved out, man. But yeah.
All right. So before we get into the numbers, let's get into that. Let's get into that poll. I was able to post it finally. Well, we will talk about this too. Manny Pacquiao, Barrios, all the rumors. Is it true? Is it not? And but before that, the poll from last week, who was the biggest loser? 526 votes. And I voted for William Skull. He actually got the lowest number of votes at 14%. Ryan Garcia got the most at 42.
Wow.
Turkey 26%, second place. Haney 18%. So that's how the people were feeling in the aftermath of that weekend. Obviously, like you said, Turkey splashing the cash. And we'll get into those numbers. But do you agree with that poll, Chris? Ryan being the biggest loser.
I can see how they voted for Ryan. Ryan is the most popular one of all those people. Let's keep it real. Obviously, we knew Haney was gonna get some heat. I can see the popular voting for Ryan just because he is the future face of boxing, the face of the new generation of boxing fans. So I can see him losing because nobody saw that really happening, especially after being 1 year out. People thought, Rollies was tailor made for him. We thought that it was gonna be a hungry Ryan. So I am a little surprised, Gio. I feel like Skull was the biggest loser. He came out of nowhere, had a chance to kind of make a name for himself, and he's he disappeared as quickly as he came on scene. So I disagree, but I can see why the mainstream fans are saying Ryan is the biggest loser. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I still think Skull. I still think probably even Haney, but I can see Ryan for sure. He was supposed to win that fight. Now, let's get into some of the numbers now. Let's see. Let's start with Canelo because obviously all the talks after the fight was Crawford Canelo, right? Canelo
Mhm.
reportedly made an $80 million payday that night, Chris. What do you think about that?
I'm gonna
80
pack my
million.
bags now. Pack my bags now, Gio. 80 million? My boy said, I'm not chasing. I already got the bag. If,
80
if, I, if I know if I know I'm getting paid 80 million, I honestly I don't want to say this, but I think I also wouldn't chase. I'm like I need to go spend this money. I need to go enjoy this money. But man, 80 million is insane, insane, insane for finding a no dancing partner. Gio, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Shout out to Derek checking in. Shout out to Big Bro checking in. Let's see. William School's estimated to have made at least 3 million. You got 3 milli to dance around for 12 rounds, Chris. That's crazy. But let's move on. For context, Inoue, they're saying between 7 and 7.5 million he received that fight that weekend. Cardenas, an estimated 1 to 1.5 million, which isn't bad for him. You know,
Mhm.
he hadn't been on that big stage yet, so he makes his milli. Now, this is the one that I was very surprised with. Ryan Garcia, 20 million. And then Rolly, they're saying 5 million. Wow.
Yeah. Wow, those are nice paydays, Gio. That's a nice payday for Ryan. That's probably double what I would have, predicted he would have gone made. But I mean, again, he's popular. He's a future face of boxing. If he keeps his, staying on track, derailed a little bit. But dude, that's crazy. 20 million. That's insane. 5 million for Rollies. Not a bad payday, and the stock went up after that. So he's going to be able to surprisingly like either keep that same amount or make a little bit more than that. But not not bad paydays. And shout out to our boy getting that milli, man. Happy for him. We know he's been putting in work, so happy to see that that money's coming and more opportunities are going to come his way.
Haney, 10 milli. And Ramirez, 3 milli. Wow. That's pretty impressive too, but it's kind of crazy to see that Haney received half of what Ryan Garcia got paid, right? After Ryan gave him that beating. Obviously, Ryan has the bigger star power, so not too surprised by that.
Wait. You said Devin Haney got 10 million? Is that right?
10 milli. That's right.
Jesus. That's okay. They overpaid him. They overpaid him again. I like to see these fighters get paid. Obviously, they're in the risk in their lives, but 10 million for Devin Haney? Come on. Somebody missed the ball there, Gio. 6 million at most, in my opinion. He got overpaid 4 million. Again, he doesn't have the most fan friendly style. He does have a name. It does carry some weight in the boxing world, but 10 million overpaid, Turkey overpaid.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Big Bro says. He says Turkey got took for a sucker for paying that much for that fight or those fights, he says. Yeah, and then let's go to Teofimo and Barboza and see how much they made. Teofimo
If Teofimo got less than Devin, oh my god, that's bad.
versus Barboza. I don't know why it's messing up here, but all right. Oh, what's
I,
going
I
on?
can I consider Boy Arnold getting paid somewhere around the mark, more than Ramona, because he's been in more name fights, especially that one overseas. So I kind of have a number in my head, little kind of range. So I want to see if it's accurate.
What do you
And
say?
yeah, obviously Teofimo a bigger name, unified undisputed champion. So I can see him getting near the Devin Haney mark.
All right, so what do you
If he
think?
gets done, I okay. So I think Barbosa 2 to 4 and Teofimo 8 to 10. if they don't have those numbers, you got to hire us to explain why your bag needs to go a little bit higher. But what are those numbers, Gio?
All right. I don't think this is accurate. They probably, I don't know. They're saying upwards of 1 million for Teofimo. And then Barboza says it's not.
Available?
It was not explicitly stated in the search results, according to AI. So, yeah, I don't know. I would say Teofimo probably made a few milli.
Yeah. How much do you think he made?
I would say a few.
A few.
Probably
Okay.
like 3 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. I feel like he should be a little bit closer to Devin Haney, and Arnold should be between 1 and 3. Obviously, like he could get the two, a little bit more exposure than our boy Ramon. But we know that there's certain popular names that get just a little bit more. So yeah.
All right, but that's that. Let's go into, I guess, Canelo Crawford. Chris, I guess we can talk about that real quick because initially they had reported that the fight was going to be on September 12th, which was a Friday, and now it seems like it's going to be on Saturday. There you see it, Canelo, who made 80 million against William Skull. Possible venues are saying Vegas, NYC, LA. I think anything other than Vegas, Chris, might be a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I feel like New York had its moment. It had its chance. Whoever's fault that is, everybody's gonna blame the other, whatever. But New York had its chance. That was not it. That was not the way to put on a boxing fight. I like LA. LA has been cool in the past before, but there's no place like Vegas, Gio. People flock to Vegas. People come in hordes to Vegas to come and see fights. That is the mecca of boxing, and I think it has to stay there. Obviously, we saw Naoya Inoue come to Vegas. That place makes sense. So yeah, I know they're gonna be kind of flirting with other places, but ain't no place like Vegas, Gio.
Yeah, and I know they had mentioned the Raider Stadium. So, I mean, you'd figure if it was LA, maybe the SoFi Stadium. But yeah, Vegas is where it's at for boxing, and a lot of people travel. I saw some comments on Instagram of when they kind of put out the news that the options were those three. Someone in the comments said, "Man, I booked my flights and hotels." I guess that person was coming from all the way from London. So yeah, people want to go to a place like Vegas, I would say, if it's for boxing. So hopefully it is Vegas, and I'm sure he'll get paid more than 80 million, Chris. That's insane. I didn't know he was getting paid that much for the William Skull fight, but you'd figure that number is going to be higher against Terrence Crawford, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, but let's talk about someone else who is a legend, and they'll be making their comeback. This was kind of surprising, kind of not. He never really announced his retirement. Manny Pacquiao versus Barrios. The rumors. I don't even know if this is official or not, but you see the fight posters already. They're saying Vegas, Saturday, July 19th. So we'll see if this goes through. Pacquiao Barrios for the WBC welterweight championship. Let's see what some of the people are saying in the comments here. Posted this 6 days ago, about a week ago.
About a week ago.
They're saying, "Don't do it, Pacquiao. You got nothing to prove." Iceman, Iceman, just not necessarily a comment, but you see the reaction there. Pac-Man was an excellent boxer, but he is risking his health doing this. Bad fight, another user says. Let's see if all the so-called boxing fans call it out when the fight is not good. Pacquiao looked so bad in his last exhibition recently. What is he thinking? He will get KO'd under 6. Wow. The sport of boxing is going downhill fast. Wow, so not the most positive reaction, I would say, from a lot of the fans.
Yeah, and I think rightfully so, Gio. Obviously, we know when fighters reach certain age ranges, we don't want to see them come back. Obviously, Manny Pacquiao in his prime, he was always much CTV. We know that he has that style that can just light up a room, can light up that evening. You're always gonna get action packed. Having said that, we know that he's very loved, he's very respected. Again, he's a legend in the sport. At 46, anybody at 46 or 47, I don't know how old he is now. Nobody wants to see that because you never want to see obviously a legend get taken out. You want to remember them, as near as their prime as possible. So we never want to see an aging legend, get taken out through the back the back door. So again, that's something that we don't want to see. We know that obviously Manny is not ordinary. He is one of the best conditioned fighters ever. Alongside Floyd Mayweather, even as they're getting older, they're able to keep that stamina, that conditioning. But 46 is 46, Gio. And so again, even though I think he's coming back, this time around to face Avarios because he sees the division pretty weak. Let's be honest. I think he thinks that there's still enough for him to capture a title. And we know Manny's a warrior. He's he's probably gonna fight until his 80s if he could. But we don't want to see that, Gio. At least I don't want to see that. It is a little bit compelling just because of what I just mentioned that the welterweight division is pretty weak right now, and I'm not super hyped on the Vario's good fighter, but not nowhere near what we're used to seeing the top welterweights. So it's a little bit intriguing, but I saw Manny's last exhibition. I saw Manny's last fight with Ugas, which was like 4.5, 5 years ago, and I already saw a decline in those fights. So yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna watch because I'm gonna tune in, but I just don't want to see Manny get hurt. What are your thoughts?
Manny Pacquiao, 46 years old, 62 and 8, 39 KOs, and as you mentioned, that Ugas fight, 2021, he lost by unanimous decision. Now, you know how I feel about Ugas. I never really thought too highly of him. I think Mario Barrios is a similar opponent to Ugas. Um, I don't think much of Barrios either. Not sure how he has a belt. But if Manny or really anyone else were to make a comeback in that weight class, I think Mario Barrios is a perfect opponent. Not known for power, not known for his great boxing ability. He's been in wars, he's been in exciting fights, but that's about it. No disrespect, but um, I think the concern is that yeah, Manny was not able to beat a guy like Ugas, as limited as Ugas was throughout his whole career. Manny struggled, didn't seem to have his legs under him, and that's got to be concerning. You got to wonder if this 4 or 5 year layoff almost is going to be good or bad. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, he did not look good in his last fight, and um, like I said, we'll have to wait and see if this actually happens or not. Uh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to think of it. Um, at this moment, I don't think it's kicked in, but you see Manny's resume there. He fought last in 2021. The fight before that was 2 years before that against Keith Thurman. Won that one. Beat Adrian Broner the same year. He stopped Lucas Matisse in 2018. Lost to Jeff Warren in 2017. And those are his last 5 fights as a professional, Manny Pacquiao. I didn't even watch that exhibition, honestly. So, yeah, interesting. But if you were to choose a guy to come back against, Mario Barrios is the perfect candidate, I would say.
Yeah, again, Gio, I think this fight, I think it will be competitive just because Manny's greatness, even as he's declining, is right there on par with a good fighter in their youthful prime and body. So I feel like stylistic wise, it will be competitive. Again, I just want to see a Manny at least in shape or as best shape he can be because the last couple of fights he just looked a little heavy. Obviously, exhibition matches you're not really getting fully in shape. We've seen it with Mayweather when he has exhibitions. He's not fully in shape, but he still has enough to beat those guys. But against a boxer, someone that is in shape in their prime, you have to come in shape. So I hope Manny takes it seriously. He takes his conditioning seriously. He gets in pretty decent shape so he could be competitive. And if he does come in shape, Gio, I can see him outpointing even a younger fresher Varios. But yeah, man, if it's the Manny that comes in heavy, that comes in with that dad bod, it's not gonna be a good night for him, in my opinion.
Barrios, 29 years old, 15, what is that? 17 years younger,
Yeah.
if my math is correct. Pacquiao's 46, so wow. Big difference there. 29-2, Mario Barrios, 18 KOs. You see some of his last fights here. He had a draw the last time out. He beat Fabian Andres Maidana. He defeated Ugas. I mean, I believe he got upgraded to the real belt. That's how he won it. Or was it? Yeah. And then you see there, nothing impressive there. He lost to Keith Thurman. He lost to Gervonta Davis. Sorry about that. So, yeah, as I said, perfect candidate if you're Manny Pacquiao, if you want a belt at 46 years old, if you want to make history. But we'll see. We'll see how that all unfolds. As of now, they're saying July 19th in Vegas. So we'll have to wait and see. Chris, let's go ahead and recap, though, what we saw last weekend because our boy, friend of the show, Raymond Morataya, won one of those junior belts, too. At 135 pounds, becomes a mandatory for Lomachenko. Good fight. He looked good. Didn't get the knockout, but he got the W and continues to climb up the ranks.
Yeah, again, an impressive performance. He did what he needed to do. I know we hear that a lot in the boxing circle, but he looked clean. He looked crisp. He looked, just athletic in there, putting his punches together. We see why, he gets so much high praise over there at that Robert Garcia training camp. So he looked good. Again, interim title, uh, becomes a mandatory for another great fighter in Lomachenko. I think that's a great fight. That's something closer to guys that still have it. Obviously, we mentioned Pacquiao, Lomachenko getting older, past his prime, but Lomachenko still has enough to test the young fighter in Murataya. So that one is a compelling fight. I can't wait to see that one. When it gets made. I know there's rumors of Loma retiring, X Cosa, but I would love to see that fight. And what an honor it would be, to get in that ring for Murataya against a legend like Lomachenko. So I'm excited for that one, Gio. Raymond did what he needed to do, and on to the next thing.
Yeah, and he pretty much won every round. It was dominant, won every round, wasn't able to put his opponent away, but he's still defeated Raymond, and still looking good. So we'll wait and see what Loma does. He hasn't fought in a while, so I think the ball is always on Loma's court. On his side. I know ever since the war in Ukraine, he's been very inactive. So let's see if he makes a comeback for a guy like Murataya. So shout out to Murataya. He improves to 23-0. Keeps that 17 knockouts, 28 years old danger. So he hands Abdullaev his second pro loss. And he's getting some good names under his belt. Tevin Farmer, Murataya. Diego Torres Nunez, who was undefeated at the time. Nakatila stopped him pretty early. So he's still up there in the ranks, 28 years old, Murataya. So hopefully gets a big chance. He's in his prime now, 28 years old. So big congrats to him. And then also on the main event, we had another champion. Obviously, the headliner, Emmanuel Navarrete, 40-2. As of now, Chris, they're saying they might turn this one to a no contest. The fight was stopped due to cut right here. It says caused by an accidental headbutt. That's what the referee determined, but all the replays are showing a punch, Chris. So this might get overturned or named as a no contest, and the rematch might be ordered immediately. But yeah, I think Navarrete a bit lucky to escape there without a loss.
Yeah, no, Gio. When I first saw, the fight in real time, I thought what most people thought that it was a headbutt. Obviously, this is why some people are advocating for that instant replay. It's for these exact moments. Again, we saw it. After the replay, that it was clear as day. It was a punch, sneaky punch inside that landed on Navarrete, and I feel bad for Charlie because you know the fight should have continued, and maybe he would have, you know, see his way go to a monumental upset. But things happen for a reason. I agree with you. Hopefully, this thing gets overturned because we're all about fairness. Again, Charlie's 36. This is probably like his one and only chance to go for a title. And if this opportunity passes him by, they probably won't give it to him again. So hopefully, it gets put to a no contest. They run it back and let the chips fall where they may. Again, we're big fans of Navarrete, but fair is fair. And so again, it was a great fight up until the stoppage, man. Again, I would love to see it, and obviously Charlie's gonna have to have another fight of his life because sometimes like these things won't happen again. So yeah, I'm excited to see if they run it back. And again, controversial ending, but hopefully they do the right thing, Gio.
Yeah, and I think the ref, like a lot of us, it's hard to believe that that nasty cut came from a clean punch, especially because there was a headbutt right after the
Right after.
punch, and then Navarrete kind of held his head there, and all the blood started dripping. So live, I can see why that was the decision that was made. Obviously, with the replays, you saw that, yeah, that came from a clean punch. And, Navarrete is a guy who gets hit. He's a very exciting fighter coming forward, but a lot of times he's there to get hit, and he got hit with a clean punch. So my guess is, yeah, probably turn it to a no contest, even though technically he's supposed to lose the fight if the cut was caused by that punch. But they'll probably he's the A side. They'll probably do a no contest and rematch, and we'll see how that goes, Chris. But your stream is gonna end soon, so just go ahead and rejoin when that happens. But yeah, I think an interesting event. It was here in the San Diego area. Um, that obviously the undercard we spoke about, Raymond Murataya. They also had our boy Alan Garcia on that undercard. He fought in a war. Man, that was a good fight. He got the W in that one. But yeah, Top Rank doing a good job with these cards.
Yeah, no, again, Tom Rick, they've since last Sunday they've been putting on the cards of the weekend, and so right now their stock is going up. A little bit of controversy, but I think most fans will be forgiving, knowing that sometimes things happen in real time. But yeah, Joe, let me put you on the spot, Joe. If you were Navarrete and you get punched, and somebody says, "Oh, we're gonna stop the fight," let's say you had enough time to explain, that came from a punch. Do you say like, "Hey, it was a punch, man. Let's keep going"? Or what do you do if you're in Navarrete's shoes?
I mean, I don't know if he had a say in this. I think it was up to um, the referee to really call this one off. And yeah, I think obviously if he knew it was a punch, then yeah, you got to tell your corner, hey, this cut came from a punch. It wasn't from um an accidental hit, but as the referee thought, as most of us thought, but yeah, I'm not sure Navarrete had a say in this. The referee made the decision, and that's what was called ultimately. Kind of a weird turn of events. Obviously, different states use different methods. Some use replays, some don't. But in this case, the state of California, it seems like they're going to do the right thing. We'll have to wait and see. But let's take a quick pause, real quick, and we'll be right back. Give us 30 seconds. We'll get to your comments, and we'll end the show shortly after that. We won't keep you guys up all night. This will be a relatively short show, but we do have to go over what's coming up, the new fights that were announced, and we got to get through your comments as well. So give us a couple minutes, and we'll be right back. right, here we go. Oh, where are we, man? Hold on, let me All right, let's go to some comments real quick from you guys. We're back. Took a little commercial break, but let's see. Vaquero should have gotten a KO loss, says Big Bro. Clear punch landed. And then Derek says, I think Loma retires. What do you think, Chris? You think he comes back for Murataya?
I hope he comes back, Gio. When I think of these fights, I think of a Pernell Whitaker taking on a younger, bigger Oscar de la Hoya, and so there's a lot that can be learned. So hopefully, we see Lomachenko take on a few of these young guys, especially deserving guys before he goes. I mean, I'd love to see that knowledge get passed on to deserving fighters, and Lomachenko is too good. He still has a lot left, in my opinion. I know, like you mentioned, he's got a lot going on with the war happening in Ukraine, and then of course they're human beings too. It takes a lot on them mentally, but I hope he continues to fight and passes on the torch to somebody that deserves it. So I love to see Loma continue to fight.
All right, and he hasn't fought since the Cambosos fight. That was last year, May of last year. So yeah, pretty much a year. He hasn't fought in a year. Not very active, as I said. His last fight before that was in May of 2023. So
Yeah.
Lomachenko, 18-3, 12 KOs. He pretty much fought champions all his career since he came into the game. So yeah, that would be an exciting fight, and it'd be great to see him come back. But we'll see. Big Bro says Raymond fights too passive, doesn't have that it factor. He says, how do you see that fight unfolding with Loma? Let's talk percentages. Should it be a 50-50 fight with Loma being inactive, or should he still have the upper hand? What would you say would be the percentage in that case?
I think obviously with inactivity, I think it's 50-50. I think once Loma gets in shape, even though I love our board Raymond, I think it's like 52-47 just because of that experience and those weird angle factors. But obviously, Raymond's got the reflexes with his youth. He's got the size. He's got speed. Again, I see that as a very tricky De La Hoya Pernell Whitaker kind of fight. But yeah, a focused Lomachenko is trouble for anybody. Anybody, Gio. Again, you just mentioned the Cambosos fight. I know you're not very high on Cambosos, but he was the bigger dude, and for the small dude to knock out the bigger dude is mighty impressive. I don't see Loma doing that to our boy Raymond, but I can see a lot of exchanges when it comes to boxing. So again, two boxers, one with the youth, the other one with the experience. Right now, 50-50 because of the inactivity that we see. Guys like Ryan. You need to stay busy. So yeah, 50-50 right now, but it could go 52-47 depending on what kind of Loma we get. In my opinion, what do you think?
Well, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I think Loma should still be the favorite, but we'll have to wait and see. The last 2 years, he hasn't been very active. Last 3 years, really, he's been taking one fight a year. He hasn't fought in 2025. So, father time. Nobody beats father time. We saw Manny Pacquiao in his last fight. Didn't look great. I do think Loma is a lot more fresh than a guy like Pacquiao. Obviously, a lot younger. Um, and he's looked good in his fights. He's looked good. He still looked quick. Obviously, lost a step or two, but yeah, I think he still, as a champion, they should be respected as such and should have the upper hand, at least in the odds and all that. Big Bro says Loma, even with an activity, beats him easy. He says either way, he's not fighting Raymond. He wants a big fight if he returns. Big Bro says. All right, let's see.
Big bro out here being disrespectful, or he just he's just calling it how it is. I mean, I disagree. Obviously, we have a little bias, Gio, but
Yeah.
yeah. As for Loma, obviously, I saw him. I don't know. Correct me if you saw it differently, but I saw him as a A++ kind of fighter, Gio. Obviously, we saw what he did in those lower weight classes, just retiring guys, just making guys like not want to fight, like lost cause for all those guys. So like you said, I feel like he has lost a step, but even losing those pluses, he's like a I don't want to say A-minus fighter, but yeah, like A-minus, and these guys that are coming up, B plus, they're getting there. So it's they're about to make the ascent, and obviously Loma's coming, you know, coming down on his career, but still a great fighter. And again, a a an A-minus against a B plus fighter that's getting ready to make the ascent. I still a competitive fight for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then let's see what other comment here. Derek says politician dudes age quick. Talking about Manny.
That's funny. I mean, when Obama went in office, he had black hair. He came out with white hair. So, or Derek ain't wrong there, man. But yeah, again, if Manny comes in light, obviously as you get older, you put on that weight, you put on that dad bod. He needs to get in shape and lose all that excess weight and be thin enough to be competitive again. I think Pecker's got one of the best chins in boxing, as coming from a smaller weight class to the top. The only one that caught him with something clean was Marquez, and that one disconnected him. Hopefully, that doesn't happen with Barrios. Barrios doesn't have the power, in my opinion, but he is a bigger fighter. So again, Manny just has to come in shape. He doesn't have to get the knockout, in my opinion. He does fight better against bigger opponents. We saw him fight Margarito, Chris Algieri, De La Hoya. He fights better against bigger opponents because he's just in and out. So I do see him having, certain advantages, but again, we need to see what kind of Manny shows up. Is it the sluggish Manny that's reflexes are just gone, or is it somebody that kind of, turns back the clock of time just one more time, Gio?
Yeah, we'll see, man. And we don't know why he's coming back. We don't know if he's been training and he sees something. We don't know if he needs the money, if he misses the ring, the fame, all that stuff that comes with it. We'll see if they do indeed fight. What Manny we get this summer.
Well,
But
Gio, we're gonna have to ask Coach G and Roxy and Kid Kansas. Obviously, we know that they sound to use the services of the wild card man. They're gonna have to be like a fly on the wall for us and talk to Freddie and like I don't know if I don't even know if Freddie's involved. Gio, do you know?
I'm not sure. I don't have too many details on the comeback.
I'm back.
All right. Let's get into the fight schedule coming up. Not a lot for the rest of the month of May, but we do have Caleb Plant, who will be fighting May 31st. Caleb Plant against Jose Armando Resendiz, and then Jamal Charlo making his comeback. That's older Charlo against Thomas Lamana. And these two guys it looks like they're setting that fight up already. They're trying to build it up. That fight is going down May 31st, Las Vegas Prime Video. And I mean, that would be an entertaining fight if both of those guys get it on. Keyshawn Davis is set to fight Edwin de los Santos. Very good fight. That's going to be in Virginia, his hometown, June 7th, ESPN Plus. All right. I know they just announced the BAM fight too. Junto Nakatani is fighting too. Obviously, those rumors circling of a possible Nakatani and Inoue fight. I was also hearing Inoue against Ball. That's another possible fight, and obviously the MJ rumors have been around for a while. Hitchens against Cambosos, they're fighting in New York. That's gonna be tough to sell, man. Should have probably done it in Australia, but what else? What else do we have? I know that July date. There's supposed to be a ton of fights there. Jake Paul against Julio Cesar Chavez. I don't know if we mentioned that already. We probably did, but that's happening June 28th here in Anaheim, California.
That is crazy. That is crazy talk. Yeah, that,
So,
that one's an interesting one because I feel like to me, I'm gonna be real. I feel like Julio Cesar Chavez has been. I don't want to say irrelevant because that name always has some weight, but he's been disappointing. I think that's a better word. He's been disappointing ever since Pasta Martinez when he was making his ascent up the higher weight divisions, and the weight just caught up to him. And after that, I saw he got sluggish. He got undisciplined. Obviously, we seen the fallout with his dad back and forth. It's been well documented. So and then he's lost to non boxers. So it's been disappointing to say the least. He had so much promise with his size. Obviously, that name that opens doors that others wouldn't get open. So it's been disappointing. And so with the Jake Paul, obviously it's gonna draw the American fans, some of the Mexican fans, their names, but I, it's I feel weird about it, Gio. Give me your thoughts. I'm pretty sure that you're not interested in that, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about it. But he can get some points back if he defeats Jake Paul, El Junior. But this is
I
the
mean,
one. Chris, let's move on. I don't want to spend time on it. Let's keep it real.
I was gonna say he'll get points back if they just give us a good scrap. That's it.
That's it.
A good scrap. I'll be happy because then en la maceta, papa.
All right.
I'll be happy with that.
July 19th. That's the date that Manny Pacquiao is supposed to fight Barrios, Sebastian Fundora, and Timmy Zhu rematch. So that's exciting. Same
Is it
day.
official?
The same. Yeah, it's. I believe they're official. Yeah. Same day in London. Usyk against Dubois. Same day, Frisco, Texas. Bam Rodriguez against Fumelele Cafu. So July 19th, and then Pacheco against Trevor McCumbee as well on that undercard. So that day is going to be busy for boxing July 19th.
Okay, looks like July's heating up, Gio. Obviously, we just had the buffet. Some of the portions of the buffet weren't that good, stale. Some pieces were running away from the dinner table, but I'm liking July, Gio. I'm having some newfound hope in July.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it, man. Let's give a quick update on our predictions. Let me see. There it
That's the reason I
is.
came on the show, Gio. I want to see that scoreboard.
So I got it up until the Boots Ennis fight. So
Okay.
Chris had a 3-fight lead, 24-5, and I was at 21 wins with 8 losses. Obviously, some movement since then. The Ryan Garcia card, the Canelo card, and the Inoue card. I'm probably down by 1 or tied at the moment, but there you have the most up-to-date one. Well, as of April. And then next week I'll make sure to um update that. But yeah, I mean we had a good streak. We did get some wrong though. We got the Ryan Garcia fight wrong. We got the Ajakba Bakoli fight wrong. They fought to a draw. And then Chris went with his heart with a couple of them, so kind of gave me a chance for a quick comeback. So tune in next week to see what those look like, man. But that's what we had as of April.
You pissed off some of the homies, Gio, but hey, you caught up. I think you caught up. I like that streak in the end, man. I took some body shots, I took some knees, I took some chances, man. I threw some haymakers, man. So I mean, I'm never gonna shy away from throwing those haymakers, Joe. You know that. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see this updated hopefully next week or the following. But yeah, man, you're back in it, Gio. Back in the game.
I'm trying. And look, let me tell you, yours actually they weren't bad picks. Ramon Cardenas got an early knockdown, and he was in the fight, and Barboza probably underperformed, but I mean, that fight could have been very dangerous for Teofimo Lopez. So, not bad picks. We got the Murataya pick as well. The Navarrete, we could probably scratch it off because that's going to be a no contest. So, probably won't even include that one. Well, obviously, we got the Canelo one correct. And yeah, it's gonna start heating up. Days like July 19th, those are the ones that really make the difference, man. When there's so much action, so many title fights and a good undercards, and that's when you can really make a good run. But yeah, we'll have that updated next week, and I think that's all I have on my end for this week.
No, for me, Gio, just that one. The Fundora Tinzu. That one seems like a gentleman's agreement, Gio. I'm surprised Fundora didn't pursue Errol Spence, who that would have been obviously the big money fight. That seemed like a safe bet, a good name, good payday. But Tinzu, so it's Fundora running it back. I'm sure there was a gentleman agreement there. Obviously, Tim Zoo coming back from that hellacious knockout. We're gonna get to visit our boy Coach Roma soon, Gio, especially there in June, and see his thoughts on this fight. But I'm excited, man. July 19th, July literally is heating up, and yeah, man. Once I'm done with this master's program, we're gonna be visiting the Robert Garcia gym. We're gonna be obviously going down the street, visit Joel Diaz. Beck Demir's got that fight lined up. A lot of movement in that 168. So, dude, I'm excited. Go touch base over there with Bam Rodriguez. Obviously, like you mentioned earlier, lots intriguing fight down there with possible opponents like Inoue down the road, with Nakatani down the road. So yeah, dude, I'm excited to go and visit these two world class gyms.
Yeah, and Pick the Bully. Milikuziev, he's fighting May 30th in Las Vegas, so that's coming up. That's on the zone. And then Federico Pacheco, younger brother of Diego Pacheco, who just got signed to Golden Boy, will be on that card as well. MJ is supposed to fight in Guadalajara. Wow. And Luis Castillo, May 30th. Is that official?
That's crazy. That it's already on there. Okay, I gotta go find out. I gotta go find out. Yeah, this is. I'll visit this gym this following week, Gio. I'll get some information. But right there, Guadalajara, the zone, they had just announced that they had to fight with Inoue and later this year. So yeah, this is
We'll
yeah,
see.
we're gonna get some confirmation, man.
Josh Taylor's fighting May 24th in Scotland. Josh Taylor might be done, man. He might be done. Angelo Leo's traveling to Japan same day, May 24th, against Tomoki Kameda, the Mexican, el Mexicano Japonés. He's going to go to Japan over there to defend that belt. And yeah, Bochuk is fighting here at the Commerce Casino. Yeah, there's some action. But June really is when things start hitting up. Let's go to some last minute comments. Boxing Magic says, Viva Canelo. Checking in. Shout out to you. And yeah, I think that's it for us today.
Yeah, hey, shout out to Boxing Magic. Viva Canelo. That is right. On bro, 80 million? 80 million? Okay, you know how there's some mandatories that you have to take, and then there's some sexier names that you can take. I can see why Canelo decided to do his mandatory because when you fight a no name, you take 95% of the pie. I think Canelo took 99% of the pie. 80 million to 3 million? Come on, man. Let me fight this mandatory. There's nobody. I don't have to share the pie. So 80 million is nuts, bro. That is nuts. Some people get happy just taking 2 milli a night. That's like a dream come true. But 80?
Yeah, I think that's why he received so much hate, because especially from retired boxers, because a lot of guys didn't make that their whole careers. This guy makes it in one night against virtually an unknown opponent. So, like I said, imagine how much he'll make against Crawford. That's going to be insane. But yeah, shout out to Canelo, man. He's really the only one in today's era putting up those type of numbers. As we said, the Mexican fans traveled well to Saudi Arabia, and we'll see if they make it happen back again. I think that's one of the feedback that I did hear a lot of boxing fans complaining about. The Times Square show was pretty much closed off. It was just like media, family, friends. The Saudi Arabia card, they were saying, didn't have the atmosphere of a Vegas. So we'll see if that's something that Turkey continues to do, or if he just sticks to the traditional Vegas venues, LA venues, New York venues, Texas too. Got to shout out Texas. I think they put on good shows where people come out there, turn out. So we'll see, man. Shout out to Big Turk, sponsor of the show, man. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for the call. DM us, Turk. DM us.
DM us,
Let's get it.
Hey, no, again, Vegas number one. I wouldn't be mad at Texas number two. Those fans always show up and they're a little bit more relaxed on the regulations. Let's keep it real, so people will show up. drink and party and have a good time. New York is out, Gio. New York is out, bro. I'm sorry. Yeah, y'all need to get back in the line. Saudi, I went to Saudi. Beautiful, beautiful country, beautiful venues, but it's not a boxing country. Let's keep it real, man. Shout out to Turkey for sponsoring though, regardless of that. But I think it's got to be Vegas, Gio. It's got to be Vegas or Texas.
Yep. When it comes to the States, yeah. You know, you can't forget England. I would say England the best atmosphere. I was fortunate enough to watch the Taylor Catterall fight over there, and that was different. You know, that was different. But you know, that's one of the things I did want to ask you because you were in Saudi Arabia. I know a lot of British fans travel out there, but even then, you'd say it wasn't comparable. You've been to Texas, Vegas. Would you say it was comparable to those? It sounds like it hasn't been yet.
Yeah, it's like it feels like almost like the elite can enjoy it, but it's not it hasn't warmed up to the sport as a whole, as a mainstream. Again, beautiful country, but it just doesn't wrap its hands around boxing just yet. Not the way the Texans do it. Not the way the like you said, the UK fans. Shout out to the UK fans, man. They show up in thrones, and yeah, and of course Las Vegas. People go there to celebrate, a party, to have a good time, and boxing usually is a big reason for that. So yeah, man. At least for right now. Again, shout out to Big Turk putting all that money, overpaying these guys. Man, sprinkle a little bit on us, and hey, we'll sing your praises, man. But yeah, again, Vegas has to be the locale. No other place, in my opinion.
Hey, we'll take that Jose Ramirez type purse, man. 3 milli real quick. 3 milli it's not bad, man. It's not Ryan Garcia's 20, but we'll take it.
We don't need the 80 million, man. Con unos dos tres con eso la hacemos, papá.
All right, man. That's that. VMC says Big Bro. Yeah, man. Shout out to all you guys keeping that chat lit. Shout out to everyone who's gonna watch this replay. Stay tuned, man. There's a lot coming up. I'm sure a lot more fight announcements as well. They'll determine, I'm sure, that venue for the Canelo fight soon. And we'll see what's up with Manny Pacquiao, man. We'll see if we can catch him out here at the wild card, man. This might be it for him. Might be his last fight, depending on how it goes. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not mad at the comeback, but we'll see what Manny we get.
Exactly. I'm not mad either, but yeah, I gotta see Manny in shape, man. I gotta see Manny running those Hollywood hills again, man. If I see him running those hills, it's a wrap. So, all right, Manny, you still got it. Hey, VMC, Canelo still got it. 80 million worth of them. Let's go.
Insane. All right, mates. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Peace. Payday. Canelo got the payday.
Insane.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco Gallo Estrada. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Échenle muchas ganas, un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Huge shout out to Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the Ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time out y'all day.
Against the Ropes.